Station. And welcome.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
fine. Yeah, we finally did it. We did it.
We almost died, but now we're still alive.
All right,
yeah.
all right.
I'm here with Aquil Abdullah, Olympic athlete and Hydrow athlete, and he has many other affiliations that we will talk about. But we're here at the US Rowing Convention. And I'm Charlotte Pierce, the producer of Ready Row USA. We're a media partner of the convention, and I'm impressed with the convention so far, just from my point of view. You know, I'm glad people are coming back, but Aquil, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, wearing a lot of different hats, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
As you said, this really has been quite a convention. I've been commentating down on the floor for the indoor championships, and it's just really exciting to see some live indoor rowing. Be here with all of the youth rowers in particular.
Yeah.
Watching, like, there were a bunch of PRs. I got to talk to some of the kids afterwards, and it's just
in the indoor.
Yeah, the indoor championship,
Oh,
and it's
God.
just pretty amazing. And then from the convention side, it's nice to see old faces again, young faces, new faces. And so, you know, like, so much of our sport is about community.
Yeah.
And so it's just nice to be back with the community.
Yeah. My first one was 2019, I think. Yeah, you were there, weren't you?
No, I wasn't at that
Oh,
one.
you
I was
weren't
busy. I was busy not rowing at that point.
Not
No.
rowing, yeah. So tell us a little bit about, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? You know, as I've been explaining, my focus this year is on expanding the sport,
Right.
reaching different communities, the things that the long talk guys were talking about at lunch.
Yep.
You know, I really want to do that. I had Ellen Minsner on
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
You know, all aspects of inclusion and,
Yeah.
you know, just regular people, coaches who are from different backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that that's one thing you're seeing. You know, we've got Craig White here from Brick City Rowing. They're doing great things in Newark and with St. Benedict's Prep. We have just, you know, all of the people that are here from AC. And it's really great to mix it up. You know, I saw Malcolm's here. You know, and we have, you know, I think that what you're talking about is something that just has become clear to me as I've actually gotten older, and that is that this rowing can be a sport for everyone. And I talk a lot about how when I was, you know, growing up and starting to learn how to row, I was terrible. But everybody starts out terrible. And then I got to the elite level, and I had a very narrow idea of what rowing should be. And it wasn't until I came to work for Hydrow, you know, and I talked to Bruce Smith about, you know, what his vision for Hydrow was, that I saw how powerful rowing could be as a force to build community. And what I love about the past 5 years or so is that we've seen an expansion in para-rowing. You were talking about Ellen Minster. We've seen an expansion in coastal. We've seen an expansion in indoor. And now when we talk about what it means to be a rower, it's, you might be an indoor rower, you might be a coastal rower, but you're still a rower. And fundamentally, I think as we broaden the umbrella, broaden that idea of what a rower is supposed to be, what a rower is supposed to look like, then, you know, I think we're going to see great things for the sport.
Yeah. Well, I just interviewed Jalen Baldwin who's from the Cleveland Foundry.
Yeah.
He's 20.
Yeah.
And he's like the only black coach in that boathouse.
Yeah.
But he is fearless.
Yeah.
You know, he's just an incredible kid, and I'm sure great things will happen.
Yeah, and I think that that's you hit on something that's important. So we've seen an increase in diversity at least from my perspective, the junior levels, right? But why is it that we don't see more coaches? Why is it, so what's happening? And so I think that it's time for us to take a look at, you know, if you're not going on to row in college, or you're not going on to row on the national team or pursue those types of dreams, then how do we get people excited about coaching? Because I think one of the important factors is that when kids go to the boathouse, they do see someone that looks like them. They know that they belong in the community. And so, you know, attracting more Latino, more Asian, more African American coaches, like, how do we do that? And, like, what's that nut to crack? And I think that if we can do that, then we'll have people in those communities that can really evangelize for the sport.
And do you think it's just a slow process? just doing more of what works, or is there something that's not being done now that should be done?
No, I think it's a slow process, and I think that part of it is figuring out exactly what needs to be done,
Yeah.
right? Like I think, like I said, like if you look at junior clubs across the country now, they're sprouting up everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, and so we have sort of the momentum, but we said, hey, we got to get more people rowing, but we didn't stop and say, hey, we got to get more people coaching.
Yeah.
Right, like that wasn't what we said. So now I think that as we think about what's important in the sport, how we really keep pushing for accessibility and access, we start to turn the knob a little bit and maybe try some other things. And for me, it's hard because like you said, it is slow moving. And as a software developer, I like to iterate. If something breaks, doesn't work, all right, what's the next thing? But one of the challenges that we face is limited resources with our sport and the capital cost, right? So it's not just like something fails, we can go and try something different. We've got a lot of voices in the room, and we have to try to figure out how to, what the next thing is. So.
Yeah, and as a master's rower, I've only been rowing 10 years, but I see that the diversity sort of peter out as you get older.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there might be a few rowers of color at CRI,
Yeah.
but you don't see them.
But I think that there's two parts to that. One is that we don't have that long history of rowing. So hopefully as we have more juniors who row, they will age into open weight rowers and then senior and then masters rowers. So hopefully that will happen. You also don't have sort of like that community. Like for people who start rowing later in life, if you're not affiliated with someone who's in a boat club already,
Right.
they're not going to pull you. You're not going to get pulled along to try it out. I was talking to a guy here who started rowing 10 years ago and is in love with it. But that's because he knew someone that was involved in the sport that said, hey, come on out and try this thing out. And so if you don't already have that, then I don't think we're looking around saying well, why don't we have more masters, which I think would be awesome. Someone who's actually doing a really good job of that, I think, is Brandon Johnson in Philadelphia, of building community and having sort of that reciprocal mentorship where you have the young kids and you have some older kids and everybody's sort of learning and working together and gaining from that experience.
Yeah, and you have at CRI where you have masters rowers often will help, they'll volunteer for the para or Row Boston. I've been tutoring for Row Boston, and it cuts across the silos.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. But and it, not just not apart from the diversification of the sport, but just wanted to see what it was like for you. Did you always plan to make a career related to rowing after your Olympic experience, or?
No, I was done. I was done with rowing.
Yeah.
But I say rowing is there's only two ways out, really. One way out, really. You can't get out. And so it wasn't long after Bruce started this venture.
The Hydrow.
And I had been talking and speaking with people about rowing, not as in it as I am now, but I think that I definitely had moved on to my career as a software developer, and that's sort of where my headspace was. But I think looking back, I always wanted to get back in. I always wanted to give back, and once sort of the family was established and I was sort of comfortable, I think the opportunity arose. It was the right time. So that was always the question for me: what's the right time for me to sort of give back?
Yeah. So, a lot of people, we do a special every year on making a living at rowing. So, there's that.
Yeah, it's a tough road. There's definitely some niches that are successful. There's definitely around you're never going to well, I shouldn't say never, but there's definitely sort of as technology becomes more capable of streaming, definitely commentating, definitely coaching,
Private
broadcasting, private coaching.
Yeah.
All of these things that may not have been possible before
Yeah.
are now possible.
And as the sport grows, those opportunities
Those
grow
opportunities
more,
will grow as well, and I think
Yeah.
that that's important as well.
And so commentate. And tell us about your recent status as a steward of Henley.
Oh, the Royal Henley Royal Regatta.
That's such a cool.
The steward. Yeah, I mean,
You get to wear a cool jacket.
yeah, I'll tell the story quickly. I had been getting a call. I've been heads down coding, and I've been getting a call from the UK all day. And at one point, I get a call from Jamie Coven. He just like checks in, and I think he was checking in for Sir Stephen Redgrave to just make sure I was home.
Yeah.
And I was, but I was just like, I'm not answering this phone. I don't know who this is. And then finally, at the end of the day, I pick up the call, and and it's hello, Aquil. This is Stephen Redgrave, and I was like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Did you know him? Already?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I know him.
All Olympic athletes.
And I have one more funny story about that.
Sure.
But he said, you've been elected as a steward to Henley Royal Regatta, and I was like, Steve, I never applied. And he said to me, Aquil, no one does. And so, but it's not. It's one of those things,
Yeah.
You don't turn down.
It's the coolest.
You don't turn. Yeah, it's just something you don't turn down.
Yeah. No.
And so it's so funny enough. My real sort of meeting with Steve was at Henley. I don't know if it was in '99 or 2000. It might have been 2000 when I won the Diamond Sculls. All week he had been trying to explain cricket to me. So I was posting up in the Leander Club.
Cricket.
Yeah, and he had tried to explain it to me. And at the end of the week, I said, Steve, what's a test match? And he threw his hands up. He's like, you've been watching a test match all week. Like, I give up. And so that was sort of my meeting with him.
Funny is like the friendlies. Don't
Yeah,
you think friendlies?
yeah.
Is that a cricket thing?
Yeah. So, so my fondest memory of Steve is him trying to explain cricket to me
to you, yeah.
While eating lunch in Leander. That's
That's priceless.
Yeah.
It's going to go in your book. You have a book?
I do. It's currently out of print.
Yeah.
I think we need to do the second edition is coming. So we only cover it in the book up to 2000.
Yeah.
Right after that, I lost the trials, but then I went on to win Henley.
Yeah.
And then I decided that it was time for me to keep rowing. So no one knows, unless you were there, what happened from 2000 to 2004. So it was mayhem, adventure, carnage.
Who's the publisher?
There isn't one for the second one book yet.
I'm a
Pierce,
publisher.
Pierce Press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Part deux.
I've been trying to get a memoir out of someone we know, a mutual friend, and he just wants to row and do stuff and tell stories, and he doesn't want to write. So I told him, just dictate into
just pick up something and start talking.
just start talking, because that's what you do best.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'd love to, why not? Let's do it.
There you
Anything
go.
else? Any other shout-outs you want to give? Any major life events coming up or in the past that you want to update people on?
No, I mean, I think like my life's an open book at this point.
You talk about it on the river.
I'm pretty much out there. I'm just really, I'm really excited about the work that's being done by the Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund. With Arshay Cooper, supported by the George Pocock Rowing Foundation, Jen Gibbons, and everyone out there that's really just helping to make that success. If people haven't seen the sort of follow-up documentary that was done by Mary Mazzio and 50 Eggs, they need to get out there and see it, because it's a really powerful story, a most beautiful thing, and it really does detail why this sport is a most beautiful thing.
It's a powerful thing. I'm not sure whether it was nominated for an Oscar. Or it should have been. But I had the cast on a couple of years ago.
Yep.
You know, and it was such fun. It was great. And I like to do an update because he's been doing
amazing
a lot
things.
of, and he's just,
The guy's he's relentless. He doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know.
He's so much energy.
He always jokes about how it's hard to track me down, and I always joke about how it's hard to
I
track him
know.
down. So good luck.
Well, I found a way, you know, when I ping him, and then like 2 months later, I'll get a ping back.
Yeah.
And it's
I always tell people if they want to get in touch with me, call my wife.
yeah, we had a big. I had met your wife at the head of the Charles, and we had a big discussion about your way to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you for coming by. I know
No
you've
problem.
got a lot of stuff
Love
going
it.
on. Are you presenting?
No, I got to get back down. I'm going to do some more commentating. Yep.
So my friend Rick Bako is down there.
All right.
He's going to be competing tomorrow. He's 75.
Wow.
No, so
Okay.
from 15 to 75.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.